I think as far as the way we play, I think it's entirely different. This is a team that builds itself around very high-powered offense, spurts, very good pressure defense man-to-man. We need to play in a full-court game. In the full-court game, I think we're as good as anybody, probably along with Arkansas in the country. Deron Sheffer has really stabilized us and given us a terrifically intelligent basketball player who also can really shoot the three. Kevin Ollie, I think, has really been kind of a heart and soul of our team as a point guard and has been probably our best defensive player. Without question, the guy now can hit three-point shots at 6'6", 230 pounds. He runs the floor exceptionally well. Tremendous work ethic. He's given us a tremendous lift. Ray Allen, the freshman, he's come off and he's been kind of instant offense for us. He alters things not only in the offensive end, but at the defensive end with his shot blocking is even more remarkable. Help leading our fast break. You know, I don't know if I've seen any guy in the country play with his particular style. I think this team can go as far as fate, the draw. I think we're good enough to go pretty deep, though. Very, very deep.
A group of happy Huskies over the weekend, but did they leave their game at that celebration? We find out tonight as the Georgetown Hoyas entertain the 4th-ranked team in the country here at US Air Arena in Landover, Maryland. And hi again, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler with Bill Raftery. Welcome to our big Monday. Big game for UConn was really over the weekend, Raph. They have nothing else to prove to the conference. Maybe they have something to prove to the country, though, especially with a possible #1 seed lying out there.
Well, Brad, last year in NIT, who would have thought it? Of course, Danielle stepped up, and if they could get a #1 seed, obviously not playing the best team in their particular region, but an opportunity to advance.
Danielle Marshall is a guy, all you have to do is say Danielle now. He's almost a one-name player. He's been sensational.
He can do so many things. It's amazing, whether it's a three-pointer or inside, starting their fast break. Their defense is an aggressive one by nature. He certainly changes the way you approach the basket.
So UConn at 24-3 may be playing for #1 seed. Georgetown may be playing for a spot altogether.
Well, the Providence game hasn't been played. That hasn't been rectified. They need a quality win. They only have 14 Division I wins, so this is an opportunity for them to step up and play a team of quality. Get into. They play Syracuse next week and then the tournament. So this is a pressure game for them.
The guy that has stepped up for them is their big man underneath, Othello.
Well, he's a pleasant player, a good performer, but he's getting the basketball. He's begging for the ball more. They're going to him. I think they reset. I think John has changed his outlook. Let's get the big fella involved. When they go to him, some good things happen for the Hoyas.
Well, some good things have happened for the Huskies this year. They haven't had a team this good in 4 years. You have to go back to when guys like Danielle Marshall were seniors in high school. But Tate George says, hey, this group might be better than 90.
We shared the lead, and they took it outright. I think, you know, the comparison should stop right there because they got it done.
That title, they've never won at the Cap Center. As Bill Raftery pointed out, the Hoyas, I think, need another quality win to assure that tournament berth.
Hey, I can't disagree with you on any of those counts. Very observant to see that the Huskies have celebrated their outright Big East championship, and they very well could suffer a letdown. But I think Danielle Marshall, with his confidence in his game, is thinking about, let's separate ourselves. Let's play for a #1 seed. So they've got some incentive here tonight, as do the Hoyas.
I think, though, that they've never won at Cap Center. That should be their main incentive. They've never won. All right, this is
ESPN's exclusive coverage of NCAA basketball is brought to you by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. And by Cadillac and your Cadillac dealer, creating a higher standard.
US Air Arena in Landover, Maryland. We get set for Big Monday, and Georgetown takes on the Huskies of UConn. And let's check the McDonald's starting lineups first for the Big East champion Huskies. Danielle Marshall, the top scorer in the conference, the #2 rebounder. With Donnie Marshall, Hayward, Ollie, and Sheffer. And a guy that really does a lot for them and does not start is this guy, Raph.
Well, you notice the points and the high percentage as well at 53% from the field. Solid performer.
George Butler coming off a career-high game over the weekend of 26 points with Brown, Harrington, Churchwell, and Don Reed. And George Butler, he's had some great games, including a 26-point performance against BC.
Great one-on-one player. A lot of shake, a lot of bake.
John Thompson, 22nd season at Georgetown, and you see the magic number. Just achieved the 500th win, and that was a 78-68 win over the weekend. And with that comes the ball that has the 500 wins on it. So a special moment for John Thompson here just moments ago. His counterpart, the man that's taken the Huskies to the Big East championship in the regular season. You can see their Big East road record is the league's best in the 90s at 22-20. Kevin Ollie He's a man that runs the game for the Huskies.
Those two in the backcourt have been superb, finding people, distributing the basketball. 2 quality performers. They come back with 2 shooters off the bench as well.
And Daniel Marshall and Don Reed have us underway. Churchwell got his own miss. Couldn't get it with the left hand. Reed tried to tip it in. And the rebound will come off to Kevin Ollie.
And the Hoyas straight up man-to-man. Some good looks on the other end by the Hoyas, not knocking them down. It's been one of their problems.
3 tries and no points.
Robert Churchwell with a tough matchup with Danielle.
Donnie Marshall.
He can break people down with the bounce.
Ollie, nice penetration. Oh, wave it off.
Well, I
foul.
thought he may have been airborne in the U.S. Air Arena. Ollie, a guy that can turn the corner and push the ball as fast as you can find a performer in the country this year. Has beaten clubs late in the game.
Nice hustle back on defense by the Huskies.
Little 2-3 zone now. Test the outside shooting. Georgetown's had some problems. Nice post pass.
Nice entry to Othella, and he drew the foul. It's going to be on Daniel Marshall down low.
Now, early in the year, he wasn't moving much. A sort of a late starter, but he's much more active, creative, posting up. And this is a tough pass against the zone and really shouldn't happen. You got to be in front. You got to have support from the rear. And Othella with a catch early. That's a bad sign for the Huskies.
He's been on a roll the last 7 games since really I think the last game we did of Georgetown. We have a tendency to get on Othella a little bit because we think he should be a double-double guy every night. He just about has been since we said that.
Now fooling around with you today at our meeting, I just mentioned the thought of foul shots. He's got to get 10 to 12 a game, I think, to beat a team like the Huskies. Now, a team that's not in the top 10, but unfortunately, many a night he'll get 2 and 3 free throws, which means he's not getting enough touches.
Got his second for our first point of the ball game.
A little full court look, and Jim Calhoun felt they would come at his team with a vengeance. Be a Georgetown team of old.
Double team on Danielle.
Nice step through though, huh?
It's a turnover, and here comes Joey Brown to Churchwell. The left hand, tough shot, tipped in.
Reed up quickly, and look at the counter. Amazing. Running the floor and the ability to find people. I mentioned the 2 guards, they can find people, but this is the trap, something that Jim Calhoun was concerned with. Anything around the foul line or below, the step through, not bad, but not a good pass. And of course, the open floor opportunity. First, a nice little left hand, and then Reed, who just bangs the glass, knows his job.
And here's Daniel Marshall. He's on virtually everybody's Player of the Year finalist list. And why not with the numbers and what he has done to help this team this year.
I don't think he believed in himself till this summer. Played for PJ, the USA team. All the pro scouts started to look and see some things. And you hate to compare guys. Early on, I thought he was a little bit like Connie Hawkins because he blocked shots and could cradle the ball. The more you watch him, he's got some of Doc's moves, Julius Erving, which is select company.
We'll take both of those names to be mentioned in the same sentence. 3-2, Georgetown. Butler has to pull up. Again, a nice job on transition defense by the Huskies.
They thought of asking me to present the ball to John Thompson, figuring I had given him so many of those wins.
Inside, Reed trying to go up strong again, and he drew the foul.
I think it may be Hayward with the reach in. I declined. I had to be with you, obviously.
That's right.
But amazing how they're able to get the ball so tight against the zone. Shouldn't happen.
You know, but spending time with Coach Thompson and spending time with me is almost the same. Quality time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought maybe you meant informative. Didn't know which way you were going. But came here out of St. Anthony's, local little high school, and built a dynasty. And I think he's got the urge again. I mean, people said the last few years, well, maybe he's not that interested, but I think these kids have given him some feel back for the game. The recruiting, he feels, has stepped up. And he takes great players.
Hoya's only 1 for 4 from the free throw line.
Straight up, man. Forcing UConn to play half-court offense is very important. Hayward not even looking at the goal.
And leave him alone.
He can make it.
Donnie Marshall, three-pointer won't go. And knocked out of bounds by Sheffer.
Everybody in the house wanted it over the top. And John pointing the finger. I used to cringe when I saw that. Interesting, they have Reed as the outlet guy. He can see over the defense. He stays in the backcourt.
Joey Brown feeds inside at Harrington, but that one's taken away. Nice play by Hayward. Sheffer almost walked. Ali finishes it.
He never had control, though. Good non-call.
And the Huskies were there. First lead at 4-3. Butler a little off balance. UConn will push it.
Look at this kid make. Oh, my goodness.
Wide open Donnie Marshall, but he airballed one to the backside to Reed.
Ali pushes, forces the defense back. I was thinking against Providence, he went wire to wire. Quick.
Hoyas right now only 1 for 6 from the floor. Looking to warm it up a little bit.
The defense has been aggressive. I've seen games where they didn't shoot well and they're a little passive on the defensive end.
It's been their story for so many years. Their defense can turn their offense on. Lob, back door.
Nice setup. They've been looking to dump it in the post. Well designed.
Churchwell's first basket.
Robert Sorry. Of course, when you got Othello stepping up the lane, he does have a tendency to bring the backside defense with him.
Marshall looking into Danielle. Marshall on the baseline. Couldn't get it there.
Hasn't had a lot of touches. First one outside.
Buries a three.
Oh.
That's why he's so versatile.
You name it.
Guy that's almost 6'10". It's his 33rd tray of the year. Back come the Huskies the other way. Joey Brown and Donnie Marshall collide, and it's Sheffer.
They are letting them go, aren't they? A pretty good non-call. No impact on the play.
Tighten your chin strap in this one, apparently.
The UConn does get out when they get numbers. I mean, explosive, can score with the best in the country.
Butler open momentarily. Didn't take the outside shot.
Look at this post-up. Too easy.
Beautiful look inside to Othello. Nice pass.
Anytime we're talking get around 88 points a game as UConn, you've got to limit their fast break opportunity. I think that's a key for Georgetown.
9-7. UConn in front. Stella Harrington and Donnie Marshall having a couple of words. I don't know what that was about.
And they got Steph's lead in the back, zoning up. Hayward's got to be a factor.
Sheffer walked with it. The Huskies of UConn lead Georgetown early, 9-7 with Churchwell soaring for the Hoyas. UConn guard tandems and the comparisons. Smith and Tate George from that great team of 4 years ago, and now Kevin Ollie and Daron Sheffer.
Both point guards, and that's what makes them so tough to defend. Here's the give back. Ollie to Daron, and then the finish. Some pretty sound basketball. And then they can counter with scores like Fair and Allen and implement them with either point guard.
Nice ball movement by the Hoyas. George Butler yet to get involved, coming off a career-high game against BC over the weekend. We need to have him have a good game when we're in attendance.
And they're going for the alley-oop again. You're looking for some points. I know that. You've been salivating over this game for weeks.
Danielle Marshall. Churchwell got a piece of it. It'll still be UConn ball.
Amazing. And now Travis Knight in the game means Donald Reed in the man-to-man has to play him. He can make that little foul line jumper. Nice little move by Jay Calhoun.
Huskies 50% early. They shot exactly 50 the first meeting between these two teams.
Little 2-3 zone, the Nestler look. Stand still, wave the arms.
I like that defense.
The old Tavern League, not a good entry.
That's 2 turnovers in the last couple of possessions for Sheffer. Nice hustle by Danielle Marshall on defense.
Now that's one of his belly button blocks. Normally he gets it up above the waist, but this was never protected. You've got to live in fear in the open floor when you've got this Marshall coming into your town. Butler should have come up with a little dip to the left and use that left hand.
Nice feed. Othello working for room and had it blocked inside. And the other way for Donnie Marshall.
Well, if Danielle doesn't do it, somebody else does. But how they turn it into quick-hitting offense.
Travis Knight with the excellent defensive play. And he's trying to play post defense on Harrington. He's got to kick it back outside. Butler draws a foul.
And this time Travis gives the body a little bit. But what is most impressive about this club, you feed off your defense. Here, they challenge, and right away, they do not waste any time. The strong send it in by Donnie Marshall.
That's why UConn is the highest scoring team in the Big East. Plays like that.
And here's a guy that has to do some offensive maneuvering, I think, for them to be good. Those kind of numbers would certainly reflect a positive tone for the Hoyas.
George, his first point of the night. Makes it a 3-point Husky lead.
Now, last year, these are those notes they hand you, and I had a lot of free time today, since you wouldn't invite me to lunch. Last year, they only had 4 games over 50% shooting, and this year,
15.
Unbelievable, huh? And that seems to be the magic number for success anymore, with clubs holding opponents under 40 and at 40.
Butler gets a breather after hitting the free throws to make it a 2-point ball game.
A little all-out press. They gamble, but they recover. Now they got to play Harrington out on Travis Knight. And with him in the game, John counters with Kevin Millen.
Ray Allen in for UConn too. Instant offense for the freshman that we talked about at the top of the show.
And Churchin, who has been known as a shooter and has never regained that early success. Look at this matchup. First
under 10 on the shot clock, swatted away.
The Big O, at least Georgetown's version.
Church outside for 3.
Open the doors. It's not high mass yet, but Urban will pass the collection plate. If he can knock them down, that's what they've been missing, that electricity outside.
Urban was at least in the right pew. Georgetown by 1.
And here's that trap. Good quick passes. Oh, I should have given it up, huh?
Ray Allen a little too strong off the glass. Knight will follow it, though.
All the defense goes to the shooter. Tough in those traps. If you get it up soft enough, you can get a rebound.
Urban will try another. That one short.
Now Longstorm.
Allen, the outlet to Donnie Marshall, who was thinking about Danielle but couldn't get the ball to him.
Boy, did they sprint down to the offensive end. I mean, they put pressure on you. Tough match for Joey Brown. Now they switch back. Now look what Joey has. Oh, he's got Ray Allen or Donnie Marshall. Oh, look at Joey Brown should get the foul. Now he tried to retaliate with Donnie Marshall. Now there was a give and take, but unnecessary type of foul by Joey Brown. I mean, you retaliate in a subtle fashion.
You don't just bowl somebody over.
Don Carter never threw it that hard.
Don't forget action-packed. Everybody that's anybody, and that pretty much puts Bill Raftery and I in our place, will be at the ESPYs tonight.
And your great pal who called you after his gold medal performance will be there, huh?
Dan Jansen will be one of the presenters, just back on U.S. soil. 15-12 UConn.
They better hustle, beat the timeline.
Spencer had to rush it up to Church. They do get it across the line and now have 23 to work with.
Dwayne Spencer, a guy that hurt the ankle early, never regained. Talked to Eddie Spriggs, one of John's assistants, said just never got his game back. Would he be a welcome assistance to this club?
And we're under 10 on the shot clock for the Hoyas.
Well, Church figures he's going to get his while he's in there, huh?
That one up and over. So he hit his first one, has missed the last 2. And we've got a timeout with 11 minutes and 31 seconds remaining first half. The Big East champions lead the Hoyas by 3. Knight off the bench, couple points, 3 rebounds. They kind of do that center position by committee, Raph.
And a lot of fouls to boot with it. You look at the 4 guys. Hayward, who they feel does have a low post move, but hasn't looked for a shot. Travis can make the outside shot. Good offensive rebound. Willingham, a plugger. And King, a kid who's going to start. And he may play a little bit this evening, according to Jimmy Calhoun. If he could step up, wow.
You saw the points and rebounds, and as Raph said, 20 fouls to give when you play it that way.
And some nights that does come in handy.
Donnie Marshall got away with a little hook there.
Now, Brad, look at the shooters on the perimeter as you go around the horn here. The three on the outside can all knock down shots, and you got Donnie Marshall as well. Look
Here's
at this.
Allen alone. Three-pointer. There's what you're talking about.
So much for a 2-3, huh? Against that group.
Churchwell, nice drive on the other end.
Hey, look at this young man, huh? He's an excellent runner in the open floor. And the quick hook now as Travis picks up another.
That's his second foul. Othella comes back in for the post spot for Georgetown, and George Butler will take Church's position.
Shane Knight, his brother, saw him play the other night on ESPN, BYU. So he came east to get his acclaim.
Robert Churchwell had a good outing. First matchup between these two teams, 16 points. He's got 3 tonight. UConn has never won here in this facility. They have lost 11 in a row to the Hoyas.
That's fun ordering tickets, isn't it?
Well, those 2 free throws ended a run. UConn had scored the last 7.
When you do press them, though, they are explosive, and they will exploit and attack the press.
Donnie Marshall squares for 3. Hayward at his hand out, and last touched it. Wayne Spencer, there's a guy that can play a lot of different positions, but he forgot to keep his feet inbounds on the toss in.
That's one John won't let him play again, huh? Inbounder?
I guess not.
The dead ball, you got to stand still. I knew John a few pounds ago. Can you believe Archbishop Carroll? I saw him play in high school.
He's in pretty good shape, though, right now.
Oh, he is in good shape, but my father took me. I was a youngster.
Yeah, you were. Sure.
Watching him perform, and they trap, and it's effective as the give back to Sheffer goes out of bounds.
Sheffer, that's 3 turnovers. 3 times he's lost it.
Well, would you give that one to him or fair? I might give that one to fair.
Okay. 3 times Sheffer's had his hands on it and lost it.
Well, you waffle.
10.5 to go first half. And it's the Huskies by 4. Georgetown's got to get Othella Harrington back inside. That was working for him early.
Well, that little trap, he did post up beautifully, and they did not attack. But in this 2-3, it's going to be tough, other than that foul area, for him to touch it. I mean, they got a front and a back.
3-pointer. Sheffer the rebound, the outlet to Ray Allen all alone.
Unbelievable. Hurley and Jason Kidd are 2 of the performers, and they've got an injury down at the other end by the UConn bench.
Jim Calhoun is hot.
I believe that's Danielle.
Is that Danielle Marshall?
Yeah,
I'm trying to
right
just check
here.
bodies on the bench and on the floor.
A little elbow into the head, and I'm sure dazed and hurt. You know what happens on this call? Refs have a tendency to look up at the rim.
Ooh.
You know, well,
Elbow to the right
there.
side of the head.
A play on. That's
And
one.
we don't even get a standing 8 count out of it. He's going to have to stay there. Back to the action. Danielle Marshall.
Blatant, huh? Right in the open.
Six-point UConn lead. There's Harrington in the paint.
Now that's the spot he's going to get it, just below the foul line. But Joey Brown early retaliating with Donnie Marshall. A little bad blood amongst the troops.
Maybe they let too much go by early. We said they're going to let him play, and maybe that has cost him a player. And Danielle is still down, as a matter of fact.
Jim Calhoun worried about his club emotionally after the win on Saturday. The great display of fan support up there.
Such a high in winning the Big East outright title for the first time ever. Possession arrow will stay with UConn. There's Danielle Marshall, and they're checking the jaw.
Yeah, he's probably upset right now. And I mean, you're hurt, and he doesn't look dazed, not that we can tell from this distance or on camera. But I think he's probably annoyed that he got that cheap shot kind of a thing. You know, it's basketball and everything else, but guys end up, on occasion, inadvertently banging people.
Georgetown comes up with a loose ball, and Joey Brown will push it. Joey will take the 3-pointer, and Brian Fair the rebound.
Sheffer always looking up. And I hear you're big in Israel. You know, you've been seen on a number of occasions.
Glad to be big someplace in some country.
You're big in my mind as they all watch this youngster who was the MVP of the Israeli League, either live or on delayed tape.
One of the many players of the year from different states and in this case different countries, if you will. Churchwell the rebound. Butler had it stripped. Fair knocked it away. Still Georgetown ball. Irvin Church will check back in. Still no re-entry of Daniel Marshall.
Jimmy Calhoun working extra hard over there, informing the officials that he didn't like what happened to Daniel.
Hoyas can cut it to 2 if they score.
So that cross court enables you then to bust to the ball. Not a good look.
Tried to force that one too much inside. And Joey Brown comes up with a loose ball and scores.
You mentioned Sheffer struggling. That was another time. Not typical Daron basketball.
UConn by 2, 20-18.
Mismatch down low as Irvin Church gets tagged. He's got Donnie Marshall 6'6" against 6 feet 6'1".
Kevin Ollie and Daniel Marshall will check back in for UConn. We've got a timeout. Daniel's back in, but he took quite a shot a couple of minutes ago down on the baseline from an Othella elbow. We'll see how he is when we come back. You can see in Krzyzewskiville in Durham, North Carolina, that's what it looks like as they get set for the big game. Pound the stakes in. Duke would love to pound Carolina, but there's some homework yet to be done and some dreams to be dreamed as we get ready for Duke and North Carolina, the rematch. Number 5 and number 2, Saturday night, 7:30 on ESPN.
And a nice gamble here. I wrote the forward in that Tipler book on physics, by the way.
That's the shortest forward of any book ever written.
Boy, they are getting the ball in good spots. Nice help by Church. Good hustle, good retreat as Boo Willingham gets tagged.
Church, a couple quick fouls.
That's what's amazing with John Thompson over the years. You'll prepare and somebody will come in. Now, Church hasn't played much, and yet tonight getting the minutes, averaging 9 a game, but solid contributions. So you never know who's going to sneak up and give you a boost.
This is the 3rd or 4th time I think we've done Georgetown. It might be the first time I've seen Irvin on the floor this year. There's the trap. Fair looking for a place to get rid of it. Donnie Marshall finds it. His three's off. Tussle for the offensive rebound.
Sure it was. Another player of the year out of Phoenix, Brian Fair, and he can do that. That's what makes them so tough. Now you've got Ollie and Fair in, and then they can counter with Allen and Sheffer. It's an amazing rotation, which I think makes them so tough.
Brian Fair, their second best three-point shooter, just nailed one. And the foul inside is going to be on Willingham.
They are starting to call them a little closer, Brad. I don't think they want this to get out of control. Now, we mentioned on our open Georgetown needing some quality win, and this particular game I think to them is essential because you go up to Syracuse, which is not an easy day anytime, much less when you feel you need one.
Well, they've still got that makeup game somewhere along the line.
Rick Barnes waiting patiently, huh?
Or impatiently, and still no word from the Big East as of today, to us anyway, as to when that game will be made up. There was some speculation it would be the week of their tournament, which didn't make a lot of people that happy. Churchwell again cuts the UConn lead back to 3.
Straight up man. Robert Churchwell doing a nice job when they're in man, not letting Daniel touch the ball. Thinking of that shot that Daniel take, this is a game made for orthodontists, huh? There was some elbows thrown.
Fair for 3. Oh. Got another one from the other side.
Ollie just punishes, and you got to help because he's so quick, one guy can't contain. And then the dish.
26-20, Huskies. 3rd assist by Kevin Ollie. That time, Brian Fair. We're at the 6-minute mark, first half. Church has come out firing tonight. 5 off the bench for Irvin.
Taking advantage of the minutes. And right back at you. They like high numbers. Good post pass.
Hayward at a hold out of the rim to keep from a hard fall. A foul inside.
Amazing. Danielle can do so many things. That time the post pass, but here is the blow by speed. The defense addresses the kick out, and Brian more than fair from deep.
Kevin Ollie, he had a game face on in the warm-ups before this game. I don't think the celebration of Saturday got to him at all. We talked to Donnie Marshall and said, have you forgotten that? He said, well, no, we haven't forgotten it. We're ready to play. And I think they have been.
Maybe Ollie just doesn't like the weather being an LA kid. You never know.
Could be it.
A little upset coming south and getting a little bit of cold air. But this club, and you've seen a lot of the good ones. Arkansas, you've had a number of times, right? Carolina did. How did they rate your mind from up front and in person?
I would think there's no doubt that, and we got a foul on Danielle Marshall and a little retaliation, I think, from the elbow he took. Coming down court, he let Churchwell have it.
They have their own communication system right now, these two teams. It's not verbalizing or chastising or taunting. It's whacking one another. You can just see there Reed with Donnie Marshall, and unbelievable on a free throw and then later on down the floor.
So Othello Harrington will get the free throws.
Maybe that'll put a stop to it. Let's go play some basketball, guys. Intentional foul, 2 plus the ball. In essence, you're giving up 2.
I thought it was Churchwell that Danielle Marshall ran into, and yet Othello Harrington shooting the free throws. You don't get your choice on who shoots free throws in that case.
Yeah, maybe Travis Ford picked them out.
Watch this. Watch the play.
Yeah,
there's Churchwell.
Oh, there's the one. See, he caught Othello about to do the same thing. It's amazing, isn't it? It's always the second guy.
I'm still not sure that Churchwell shouldn't have been the guy taking the free throws. And now John Clockerty, I think, is that what they're talking about, the officials?
No, I don't think so.
No?
No, I think what happened was, you're right, Churchwell was the initial guy you saw on the camera. Then Othello came in. On the follow-through, they put him on the line.
Apparently that's the way they ruled it. And 1 out of 2 from the line and the ball. 5-point UConn lead with 5:35 to play first half. Church.
They attack. Even in this 2-3, which is generally more of a passive defense for UConn, they get out and close.
Georgetown, that's their 5th turnover. Trying to hook it back to Hayward. Knocked out of bounds. Joey Brown will check back in.
Joey's could have been intentional early on, if you remember that one. Little shot.
5'10" senior. Closing in on the steals and assist marks at Georgetown.
How about him, the first Hoya ever, 1,000 points, 500 assists, 400 rebounds, 200 steals.
That's a lot of work. Nice look to Ollie. He's trying to get it back to Donnie Marshall. That skips off his hands. 8 Husky miscue.
A little close for that kind of delivery, and usually his judgment is terrific.
Needed a change up. He threw him a 90-mile-an-hour fastball on the baseline. We're under 5 minutes. Brad Nessler, Bill Raftery at USA Arena. Georgetown trying to upset UConn. And Travis Knight picks up his 3rd foul. So did a nice job off the bench. But he can't seem to keep his hand out of the cookie jar, and that might sit him down the rest of the half.
I remember having a haircut like that, but he had a perfect trap on the side, Brad. I mean, there shouldn't have been any way Churchwell could have gotten free.
Here comes Hayward to take Travis' spot.
1-1, guys, 1-1.
Now they're working on all those fouls at center.
The 20 to give, well, they might have to use them.
There's that GI look.
You had a haircut like that, huh?
Used to get it in September and got another one in June. It was a season haircut.
Robert Churchwell, 6'6" senior out of South Bend, Indiana.
In the BC game, there were 89 free throws. Can you imagine that?
Unbelievable. Set a single game record in that one. They had 6 players foul out, 3 on each team.
Look at
I bet there were some missed flights after that one was over, Rap.
Well, the game started at noon, ended at 6. But Sheffer again with that pass, leading guys to the hole. He's got a great touch.
Joey Brown ran all the way around the perimeter to knock that one away. That's the kind of hustle we were talking about. Number 2 in career steals. Should get that record before the season's over. Needs 29 more. Sleepy Floyd is the all-time leader in that category for Georgetown.
And you always think of Sleepy knocking him down, don't you?
Forget about the great defensive play. Well, we've gone a couple minutes without any points. 3-point Husky lead becomes 6.
Once again, Ollie creates a numbers advantage for UConn. The pinch and then the kick.
Sheffer, their top 3-point shooter. His first tonight is 43rd of the year.
Othello not getting much room in there.
Joey Brown, little finger roll.
Wilty, full extension.
Only a 1.5 feet shorter than Wilt, but the same kind of move. Sheffer now running the point a little, and he penetrates and runs right into Othello Harrington. Not being run into. Sheffer picks up the charging foul.
And normally you don't see him do those things. Usually it's a beautiful pass like this, Brad, or the ability to knock down a 3.
In the number 4 spot in the top 20, a 4-point lead tonight, and number 4 national ranking behind Arkansas, Duke, and Michigan, and Carolina rounds out the top 5. But they have the most wins of anybody in the country. Arizona, UMass, and Carolina, and Purdue all with 23. But Connecticut with their best record at this point ever in a season. Of course, that team that made the Final 8 that we talked about earlier in the ballgame won 31 that year, 31-6.
Now you've equivocated. Who do you like? You've seen all of them.
Well, Arkansas, when they play well, which is just about every night, are pretty good. But I think it could be a year when somebody comes totally out of the weeds to make a big splash at the big dance. We'll find out.
John Jock with the deep look. Not getting many second opportunities, are they? 2 teams that impressed me up there are Duke and Michigan as surprises. They're bouncing back after Weber leaving, and Duke, of course, everybody wondered, could they replace the point position?
I think it was Gary Williams, the Maryland coach, who said to me, Duke wasn't supposed to be as good, but somebody forgot to tell them.
Well, you know, Michael, he'll get him ready. Because Gary having a nice year, too.
Sure is. Sheffer with 5 left on the shot clock, and that's a 3-pointer. He flew in from outside the 3-point line. That's his 2nd of the night.
Do you notice how he warded off with his body, too? Such a heady performer.
That gives the Huskies their biggest margin. They're up 7. Sheffer's perfect tonight, too. 3 for 3 from the field.
Nice pass.
Great dish. Reed to Othello Harrington.
Oh, gorgeous. And look at the counter.
Got to get back. Butler did to knock it away, but Fair is there to tip it back in.
Look at the numbers. They've got 3, 1 wide open in Allen, and then 2 closers. They get those puppies up and down. Very anxious to get to the other end.
Jim Calhoun said that part of the payoff for the Big East Championship was running all those hills early in the season. I think it's paid off. These guys just don't seem to get tired, and they do have enough depth to run new people at you.
And they do have some hills around the campus.
They sure do.
Early morning breakfast together. I would have had trouble getting my staff up for that.
No, you better stay on the treadmill. You don't want to be running those hills.
There's Jimmy Calhoun, a runner from way back, and drawing the foul. Nice play by Miku. Going to the line for 2, I believe.
Miku for 2.
I remember early last year, Jimmy was struggling. And I said, I guess you're not running with the president this year. I bet he's back running with him now.
Here's another opportunity. We're back at Georgetown, and the president did not take me up on what has been a year-long offer to go jogging with me. And I haven't heard from him. I'm sure he knows how to find me.
I was talking about the president of Connecticut.
I was talking about the big guy.
I know who you mean.
2:07 left in the half, and a 7-point Husky lead.
And in Georgetown, Grant, might add.
That's right.
Yeah, I think there's Lauderby there, if I'm not mistaken.
They are deciding right now whether or not it's a 3 free throw attempt or a 2, and they've decided 3. Miku outside the line. John Clockerty straightens that out. And so Eric, a 6'1" sophomore, steps up. Started 1 game this year
and ended up with a career-high 19 points. That was against Virginia State. So Eric will end up with a rather rare three-point play if he hits this one. That pulls Georgetown right back to within 4, and here comes that full court pressure.
I think they got to get something out of it, though, because the numbers, once you get by half court, this team looks to score, can be devastating.
Rebound comes off Joey Brown, and Millen will run it together. Millen walked with it.
Give the ball up. You got Miku spaced out with his feet ready. Nice looking run to gate it.
Sometimes easier said than done. Millen looked like a heat-seeking missile, and he couldn't find the handle enough to get rid of it.
He's looking for a jump stop and a crossover. It's awful tough.
We're under 2 minutes. Points off turnovers. Georgetown with 7. And Joey Brown's going to pick up a foul outside.
Is that number 2?
Is that small change, you think?
Yeah, a little nickel dime, little McCrory special. Basement.
We are right now a minute and 44 seconds away from the Delta Faucet halftime report. There's been a coaching change in the Southeastern Conference at Tennessee. We'll talk about that. Clark Kellogg's proper props. A look at 10th ranked Louisville. And John and Clark will have all that and more at halftime.
George Irvin is here, who was Clark's coach with the Pacers. I'm sure assistant and head at times, and he was just raving about his ability and his career, difficulty with the leg, the knee, gave him some problems. They were one of the great pros of all time. How about that?
I tell you, he's still going to have trouble with his knees if he doesn't quit getting excited during games, because his knees don't fit under the table that we're sitting at, and that thing is always jumping around when he gets sight. 10 on the shot clock as Ali now will start to make the move. Fair, trying to give it up. Knocked out of bounds, and there'll still be 5 seconds all that remains on the shot clock.
It's amazing. Playmakers will make that particular play and give it to their partner. That time, Fair could have done the same thing for Ali for an open shot.
So they're going to have to get one up in a hurry. They do, and they score. Rudy Johnson off the inbound.
A little slippage on that inbounds.
38-32. We've got a minute to go first half.
And as you recall, they're great at scoring on inbounds. On the baseline, UConn comes up with a number of opportunities for their guys.
Miku worked for a jumper. Had it rattle out. Reed with a second chance. Blocked by Hayward. About a 11-second difference. Shot clock and game clock. Kevin Olly's going to use a little time. Huskies content to do so with a 38-32 lead. Hayward, no offensive threat out there, and he's going to have to get rid of it. Finally does.
A nice job by Miku. Excuse me, Brad, because they don't want Ollie to get it late.
Ollie may have to work for one of his own. Now just finding the handle could be tough. Georgetown, nice job on defense. Shot clock expires, and that'll give the Hoyas 11 seconds to work before intermission. Daniel Marshall on the bench, took an elbow earlier and a couple of fouls and only 7 points, and that is definitely an off half for him.
Taking him out of his game a little bit, out of stride, but that hustle for the loose ball, so typical of Georgetown, and that's the one thing Calhoun thought coming in here, that they would show an aggressive side like the old days.
Churchwell comes out. John Thompson wants George Butler in there for a possible final shot. He's an excellent three-point shooter as well. Let's see what the Hoyas can come up with before the break.
See if they get Joey. Wow, the deep one, huh?
Three-pointer off the mark. Johnson the rebound. Kevin Ollie lets fly and at least hit the backboard. That ends the first half. The UConn Huskies playing well on the road lead the Hoyas of Georgetown 38-32 as we head into the studio. John Saunders and Clark Kellogg, guys.
Well, actually, John's at the SBS. I'm Chris Fowler. I'm filling in, guys. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe the Huskies were not right for the taking. They played well in the first half, but the Hoyas have not done their game plan very well.
Exactly. When you want to try to beat UConn, you have to keep them under 70 points. Much easier said than done. On this pace, they're ready to score 76. They did it a variety of ways. They were able actually to get some easy transition baskets, but here attacking the zone, Doran Sheffer throws it over to Danielle Marshall, and what we want to take a look at is the weak side action. That's Ray Allen, number 34. He's going to get a little brush screen from Donnie Marshall, and then the pass over the top is going to result in a three-point look. There's the pass to the wing. Now look at Daniel Marshall. And Donnie Marshall, right in the middle of your screen, number 30-33, going to set just a bump screen on the wing player. That gives Ray Allen plenty of time to knock down the three-point shot.
Huskies have overcome a subpar first half by Sheffield. Normally that's a problem for them. Coming up on the Delta Faucet halftime report.
Sayre Arena, Atlanta over Maryland. Georgetown at home trailing the Huskies of UConn 38-32. And when UConn is shooting over 50% from the field at halftime, they don't lose this year. Brad Nessler, Bill Raftery back with you. And Daniel Marshall, we sang his praises. Raft, he didn't play that much in the first half.
They kept him away from the basketball very well, and he also maybe taken out of his game with some physical play. You can see Othello nailing the big fella as Daniel is staggered. Unfortunately, comes out of that doing or feeling well, but the guards have just been so impressive all year long. Here is Ali with the ability to push the ball up the floor. The give back and finish by two talented point guys. And Sheffer all year long, the lead pass, the lob to an easy goal.
That's the kind of plays that have given the Huskies this 6-point advantage as we're underway to start the second half.
Little 2-3 look again. Try and find out if Georgetown can make some shots out of the painted area.
Daniel Marshall has come out to start the second half for the Huskies, if you're looking on the floor for him.
That's the spot that's been open, that foul line area.
5 on the shot clock. Churchwell. Joey Brown's going to have to launch one, and does. In the nick of time, and it goes.
Oh, a little smooch to boot.
The 3-point kiss.
I've heard that before.
38-35. That's what you call getting one off just before the buzzer.
That's one kiss that John Thompson adores.
Donnie Marshall baseline. 4 for Donnie.
I think Georgetown's got to make it a feisty game. Score, get set, and they got to charge on the penetration. Well, once again, George Butler unable to do it in a positive fashion.
As I said, UConn, when they're over 50%, they're tough, and they're 56 at halftime, and also three-pointers 50%.
And you saw that rebounding note as well. They're a very dominating board club.
Number 1 in the Big East in rebound margin over their opponent.
And Georgetown's not bad either. Usually out-rebounds the club by 6. And the Hoyas go man-to-man, and a quick post pass, and Daniel not really ready for the bell. Here's the 2-2-1.
Joey Brown just handed it over to Ali on the steal. Daniel Marshall to finish.
That should have been a foul at half court. They should have given the foul to stop the fast break. Nobody in serious problem for the Hoyas. Ugh. The 2-2-1, you try and dribble through the trap.
Daniel, the first jam of the night. He leads the club in that category. They keep some remarkable stats. He's the top dunker on the team, 67 on the year. There's a walk.
Tim Tollikin, I guess he's not busy up there, the SID.
That's right.
Keep all those numbers. Well, here's one. When you see a trap like this at half court there, Donald Reed should have given it up. It would have negated. Let's send it in by the All-American. And they got the hold by Robert Churchwell as Daniel starting to move without the basketball pretty well. And they've done a nice job containing him.
You know, sooner or later, he's going to get his points. Had actually an off game for him in the win over Pitt that iced the Big East crown. Only 15 points. We say only. A lot of guys would give anything to score 15. Joey Brown pushes it. Not a good dish.
And it's amazing now. UConn runs, but they also run to get back into their defense. I mean, they put as much effort. And a lot of clubs that are running now, they neglect that end of the game.
Georgetown's come out with some intensity rap, but they got 4 turnovers in less than 2.5 minutes. And now UConn comes back with one of their own.
And that's what Georgetown has to do. Shake it up a little bit.
Joey Brown thought about a 3, penetrates instead.
They got the charge. Nice step in. Presentation and back by Hayward, who contributes wherever he can.
Joey now 3 personals.
Under control, should have made the dish before he went airborne.
Both teams a little sloppy here in the opening 2.5 minutes.
I mentioned Tim Tolick in the SID. He was telling me Daron Sheffer somewhat has hit the wall. He's been tired. And in Israel, he just practiced or played and didn't look at this deep shot. Amazing. He doesn't get it inside. Go downtown. And he just said that they would play the games. They didn't practice as much. And over here, he's got to do all that extra effort as John Thompson wants to reorganize.
Well, UConn has stretched it to its biggest lead. They're up 9, and the Hoyas will talk it over. UConn's captain, great backcourt player, never missed a game in 4 years, and now he's quite an assistant coach, Carl Hobbs.
A solid contributor. 14 years ago, he was the backcourt guy alongside Patrick Ewing. You can see the dribble moves here attributed to Carl Hobbs by Danielle.
Danielle says Coach Hobbs taught him how to put it on the floor and then put it in the hoop, just like he did there to up his point total to 11 for the night.
And that's where he's got so much room for improvement. Again, the airborne, and they get away with one, but fortunately for the Hoyas, able to knock it back down.
Don Reed with the putback.
Carl Hobbs replaced Glenn Miller, and Jimmy Calhoun early in the year said to me, I'm so impressed the way he's broken down games, and Glenn was a very valuable contributor. Now Hobbs does that in the locker room before the game, putting all the X's and O's up, and that's a big responsibility.
10 on the shot clock. Sheffer on the point with Joey Brown right in his face.
Nice. I thought he was going to dump it, didn't you?
Whoa.
He had the look, still able to knock it down.
That's why they call him the Israeli Iceman. Plays like that. He's 4 to 5 from the field. He struggled handling the ball at times tonight. Church, three-pointer.
Oh, they're going to have to stretch it out, which should open it up inside for Othello now. They may have called him the Iceman over there, but he didn't know what they meant till he got here.
That's right. Danielle, three-pointer, rattles off the back of the iron. Hayward keeps it alive, though. And a foul underneath.
Don Reed, who can get them quickly.
So Eric Hayward, all 250 pounds of him, 6'7" sophomore, will step up. There's his numbers on the night. Part of that post player by committee we talked about earlier as they rotate guys in that spot.
Sort of surprised you when you read first ever outright championship by UConn. You think back to the early days, Corny Thompson and guys like Earl Kelly, Mike McKay, some pretty talented guys. And of course they shared one along the way in the early 90s, and they wipe out the attempt. But joy in stores the other night.
Hayward definitely dancing in the streets and on the court. Knight comes in, that last free throw taken away on a lane violation.
Good poise right here.
Knight trying to work inside against Harrington. Church fires it again. The follow. Churchwell couldn't get it. Good looking play, didn't get the finish, and Sheffer with another turnover.
And Church giving him some life. He's the one that stepped in here. And Daron Sheffer definitely not playing the way he's capable of. He's such a solid performer. This is an unusual game for him. A little scrambling by the Hoyas and almost a make by Church. It would have been beautiful.
Churchwell, tough move. They're going to call an offensive foul.
And a step in by Travis Knight. I mentioned the difficulty of Daron Sheffer. He's got 6 turnovers. And a guy that values the ball. Only 60 turnovers for the year.
Daron's going to sit over there and talk or think about those 6 turnovers. Marshall, Allen, Knight, and Kevin Ollie ball in hand. The 5 on the floor for the Huskies with a 7-point lead and 14:45 to go.
And this is what makes them tough, I think, having Ollie to go to another point guy, a heady guy, runs the offense, and gets the ball right down here.
Triple team on Marshall, and he's bumped to the floor. Either Churchwell or Brown's going to be the guilty party. It's going to be Churchwell. And Robert picks up another one in a hurry. Now he's got 4 fouls.
I don't think he's ever going to be real big. Do you? Weight-wise, I don't think he has to be.
Danielle?
No.
No. When he was a freshman, I thought, boy, if this guy puts on some weight, is he going to be special? I don't think he's gained 6 pounds since that freshman year, and he is special. So some guys just play that way.
He's the kind of kids that we would attract when I was coaching. You know, it wouldn't take up much of the financial burden in the diet category. But I don't think he needs much more weight. He's a runner. Not a good shot. I always think of the Iceman, George Gervin. Doc was never muscular, although tough and strong as he progressed in his career. And I think that'll happen with this guy. Catch it first.
Knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Knight. Coming up, the ESPYs immediately find both the entertainment field and, of course, the athletic world will be on hand.
And they'll all be asking for you.
And I'll just tell them that I'm just a working stiff who couldn't get a ticket. Othello kicks it out to Church. He has been shooting it tonight.
Undeterred, and the leak out again.
Ollie, great catch.
Joey Brown with a great effort, but you are right. Together, attractive, and then the little left hand.
And the Huskies match their biggest advantage. They're up 9, 49-40.
It's tough to tell your team, look, if you miss, sprint back there, fellas. This team gets down in seconds.
You know, Othello Harrington in the first matchup between these two teams held to 6 points and 9 rebounds, and UConn's doing that same type of bottle job on him tonight.
Right there you can see the zone, forcing the penetration, everybody around the post guy. Gotta make outside shots.
And that has been a stickler for the Hoyas. Not just tonight. Danielle Marshall, 3-pointer. Church with a nice weak side rebound. The Hoyas with a 3-on-2. Joey Brown squares. A little short.
Should have used the glass, don't you think? Great angle for it.
Would have been a great time for the Kiss. They get another chance anyway.
And you need some friends out there, and the glass is your friend on that angle.
Church.
Oh, my goodness. He is not afraid tonight, is he?
Nice look inside. Donnie Marshall finishes things off for the Huskies, and they're up by 11.
And Brad, you know what's great about that play? He didn't charge. Made the pass, slid by Marshall to Marshall. It's martial law.
Where's Miss Kitty when you need her? There's Marshalls all over the place. 51-40. There's amazing things that Daniel Marshall does, and he's led the club in assists 6 games this year. So he is just not a shooter or a rebounder or a shot blocker.
And he even understands Jimmy Calhoun when he talks fast. I mean, that's...
Which is maybe the most difficult thing to do. Jim's mild tonight, and as well he should be. His team's up by 11, 12.5 to go.
His assistants told me years ago, just nod your head like we do.
We understand, Coach.
And Butler in the game maybe to give him some life out deep.
John Jock also a pretty good outside shooter. Harrington tripled. Othello is determined and got the shot away and drew a foul.
Well, they were in good defensive position, but initiating the contact a little heady play by Othello down on the box, but he draws in droves the Huskies once he gets it.
Knight with a body inside. He's going to come out.
They all know where he is, don't they, Brad? Gathering at the monument. Now, there's one downtown. This is out in Landover.
Donnie Marshall's actually the guy that gets the foul from behind. Here's Othello. Only 8 points tonight. Career high numbers against St. John's, 31. So much potential. Much of it he's already achieved, but you just know this kid's going to get better and better. And we had him against Syracuse, I guess it was, 27 points and 17 rebounds that night.
And that was his 6th free throw. Now, we mentioned around 10.
Only 3 of 6, though. If you're going to get him, you got to make him.
Got to knock him down.
10-point UConn lead.
Miku's got Marshall, and they don't get it to him. This is where Sheffer's pretty good. They ought to bring it around. Now, why run a play, Brad? Right? Miku can't guard Danielle.
Three-pointer doesn't go. Spencer will clear it off. Butler maybe should have taken it when he got it. And a foul on Willingham inside, trying to stay with Othello Harrington.
Well, that's a boo-boo when you reach from behind like that. You got to get the feet in front of the guy.
Nantambu with the boo-boo and the foul. His second. And we've got an official timeout with 11 minutes and 34 seconds remaining. And here's part of that martial law Raph talked about. Danielle to Donnie, and it's UConn by 10. Danielle Marshall on the bench for UConn with an 11-point night, an off night for him so far. Kevin Ollie there with him, so two of the Husky starters out with a 10-point lead and 11:34 left in the ball game.
Nice little play as Spencer gets the cross court and able to use the dribble.
Georgetown needs a couple defensive stops and to start lighting it up on the offensive end, and they'll be right back in this thing. They're down only 8.
They give it that 2-3 look, and you might see some traps below the foul line.
Donnie Marshall wheels on Spencer. Harrington got a piece of it. Ball comes out to Butler. George hooks it to Jock, and the baseline jumper's off for a nice offensive rebound.
A little life, too, as GB. That Butler delivers. Great look to the corner first.
Little room service in close.
Well, they just need a little juice. They don't have much of it.
Fans trying to give them some now. They're only down by 6.
Garone on his game usually gets this club very well organized.
Brian Fair with Miku all over him.
Donnie Marshall is the guy with Danielle out that they might go to.
Shepard tried to go baseline and had it kicked away. So 8 seconds remain on the shot clock as Hayward and Danielle Marshall are set to check back in, and Danielle will be the trigger man right in front of his own bench.
A call to order, huh? As Marshall back in. Jimmy Calhoun, nice step through, doesn't waste any time.
Got a line drive because he was hit on the elbow. So comes in, immediately gets the shot off and draws the foul on Othello Harrington.
You know, part of the difficulty he's having, although he wasn't really focused, I thought, early, then he got the shot, is the zone and the traps. They're forcing him to give it up and do some things he's unaccustomed to.
The faces of Marshall behind the backboard. You have to look at yourself. It's like shooting a free throw into a mirror, and he buries it.
You can always tell Jesuit-trained individuals, can't you?
He's a finalist for the Naismith with that group. I could make that team win some games, I think.
You're looking at me like you know I couldn't. You've heard, huh? Well, let me have Jason Kidd running the show, and he can get the others involved.
We'll get a look at Glenn Robinson Thursday night. Minnesota fresh off a 50-point win over Indiana. Wow. Into West Lafayette Thursday night.
Would you like to have an ear in that, Jim?
No.
A lesson maybe being taught by Bob.
Danielle hits both free throws. 13 on the night, about half his average.
Over the top, but too much because it's Joey Brown, and Hayward closes beautifully. The last line of defense, and very active.
Joey, an excellent jumper, but he's the smallest guy on the floor. That pass too high and away. 53-45, and we are about ready to hit the midway point of the second half. Brian Fair comes up firing. Inside, the stick back's good.
Not so sure that's what Jimmy Calhoun wanted on that Brian Fair release. A quick one deep, but they got away with it. Somehow get between defenders and then get your feet set for a jumper. So they're not attacking the zone. Nice little baseline look.
Butler trying to tip it in from the baseline. It comes off to Sheffer, and he's got his head up looking down court.
Nice play.
Steal. Third of the game for Joey Brown. Butler doesn't launch it, and the fans want to know why. He is not shooting much tonight, and instead they end up with a turnover as Othello Harrington steps on the baseline.
Well, it's not his fault. It's where you catch it and who's around. So he didn't look good on that particular play, but he hasn't had the opportunity to be free or roam as much as he would like. Everybody down there, nobody complimenting with some outside jumpers.
And even when you're a great shooter, there can be some spots on the floor you're not crazy about. Could have been one of them. 55-45.
Little post up by Danielle. They don't go to him.
Hayward's not going to scare you on offense. He never looks to the hoop. Danielle Marshall does, though.
How about the variety, the spice, huh? Haven't seen that one in a while. A little jump hook.
So he's got 8 for the half, 15 for the game. And just after Georgetown had scored 5 straight, now UConn with 6 in a row, and they're up by a dozen. Harrington, nice catch in low.
And they got Danielle maybe trying to contest. Nice look, a confident pass. And they had the alley-oop on this particular play. This is the post-up now earlier. And it looks like Georgetown's in good shape. They get help from the outside, turns away from it, and delivers the knockdown hook.
Danielle, single season scoring record with that last hoop. 704 points. And you would think the way he plays is going to be easy that he'll be the first guy ever to have 800 in a season. That's just down the line, probably about 3.5, 4 games from now.
And we better call Milwaukee because either later tonight or the next game, Eric Murdoch will lose that record, huh? Big East, 435, came in with 410. He can light it up.
That was Don Reed, who you just saw come into the ballgame, not wearing number 52. He switched jerseys and is wearing number 55.
Must have had some blood on the other. And one guy zigging, and the other guy makes the pass.
Miku, the Spencer, they work it around the perimeter.
They don't take it to the zone now. If that doesn't go down, chances are it's a break the other way. Maybe a walk or at least a jump ball.
Wayne Spencer and Donnie Marshall, the officials rush in. The crowd stands up, and those two help each other up.
Possession arrow going UConn's way. They got the nice post pass. Now you got a fast break opportunity. Great save.
Joey Brown knocked that away from Kevin Ollie from behind.
And then the tick by the cutter.
It is championship week already. Believe it begins what, tomorrow officially?
Well, the date anyhow. The Ides are upon us, as they say. An exciting time of year. Again, going way outside. Right, they can move closer. I mean, the zone is packed in.
Jock took that 3 feet deeper than he really had to.
And nobody up on John.
7 minutes, 55 seconds remaining in the ballgame. 48 with 7:55 left. Brad Nessler, Bill Raftery with you from US Air Arena. When we are done, you can stay tuned for the 2nd annual ESPY Awards supporting the V Foundation coming up at 9 o'clock. The big wigs in sports and entertainment there for your entertainment immediately following our ball game. Othello Harrington had a tough catch in traffic, went up with some authority. He has 14 points, but almost unbelievably, no rebounds tonight.
Ooh, a forceful push to the goal.
Didn't look like a skinny guy on that one, did it?
No, a little power by Danielle.
17 for Danielle Marshall.
You know, Brad, I don't know how they got that ball into Othello at this end. Now look at the distance they are from the defenders. I just think they've got to create some decisions. Dribble between defenders. Slide people to the open. Look at this deep shot. Wow.
Way off to Joey Brown. Rebound Kevin Ollie. Did he step on the line?
And if you notice down the floor, you got Shepard and Marshall were wide open. A great look by Ollie.
Here comes George Butler in. Now, he's the guy that you expect for Georgetown to be able to hit the outside shots to start to open things up. But that hasn't been the case tonight. Only 4 points for George.
Well, they haven't gotten in between defenders real well. Everything's been on the perimeter just like this. Occasionally that higher part of the foul line has been open for that kind of pass.
Reed forced that into Harrington. And it ends up being another Hoya turnover.
Now we have a stat, no rebounds
for Othello.
Harrington. So, I mean, that means on the missed jumpers, the ball is hopping a great distance. So he's unable to really take advantage of his value.
UConn by 9. Ollie so quick, gets it to Hayward, blocked by Reed.
Howard should have had that up quicker and finished.
Again, trying to get it inside. Knocked away by UConn.
And what a distance for that alley-oop, huh? I mean, just not there.
Travis Knight, the 7-footer back in. Hayward out.
Oh, my goodness. Reed waiting to go underneath.
Like that was going to be a pass to James Worthy there for a second.
Oh, what a memory.
I hate to bring that up, but it gave me that vision. Butler,
Great
nice slice.
Oh, that was better deployment. The kick and then taking advantage. Create some decisions for the defense and the slide by Butler.
Georgetown very much in the game. They just need a little bit more spark, and they need to turn the defense up a notch. We've got 6 minutes to go. It's 59-52.
Now, this is a tough match for Reed. This distance from the goal on this guy. They're trying to clear out. Where does he elevate?
A foul on Reed. Yes, he does.
Oh, he was up over the cylinder.
And Danielle having a quiet 17-point night so far.
Subdued.
The subdued 17. Yeah. There you go. He is a very quiet young man, very polite, and Jim Calhoun facetiously has given him the name Yell because it's something he almost never does on the court.
The nice write-up in the local paper here, local paper, huh? Washington Post. His teammates talking about how humble he is, something certainly you can relate to.
That's right.
In all humility. But Theron saying he had met some stars in Europe and expected, well, this guy would have an ego or carry himself in a different fashion, but a lot of style and poise. Well liked.
Butler immediately double teamed by Knight and Donnie Marshall. Nice hustle back by the Huskies.
Oh, nice little entry pass.
Ofella is so tough in there.
You notice with Knight, they're able to get that entry pass a little bit. Hayward bulks up, bangs him out a little bit. Travis got a slide in front, caused some problems for him.
Harrington's got 16.
Nice back cut there by Danielle. See, they play with him, too, which is so important.
Again, he shows his quickness and his elevation on the jumper.
All the pro scouts just nodded down on the baseline. One-on-one, awful tough. The bigger you are, brings your way.
14 points in the second half. Shepard with a steal.
And head up all the way, too.
Danielle trying to touch pass, taken away by Georgetown. Butler finally squares for three and came up way short. But Ofella Harrington will get another chance. He's fouled, but that's on Travis Knight. That might be a good night for Travis. Is that 5? That is only 4, yeah. But he's coming out anyway.
Now that pass by Danielle, a bounce pass, and could have had a basket for his club at the other end. And Travis then gets back and gives the tag. Now Hayward, a little more body. You see down with Othello? It's a kinder, gentler match.
Three-pointer would be big right now for Georgetown. Butler gave one up. Gets into traffic to Othello. We'll take that one.
Well, he's given him some idea of how to attack his own. He's created areas where you have to have 2 people come at him. He's able to dish.
Talked about a subdued 17 at one point for Daniel Marshall. Othello with, you want to come up with another word for his 18 tonight?
Calm. Cool. Nice help here.
Turnover UConn. Georgetown can cut it to 5. Churchwell had it blocked by Marshall. Something else he does well.
Yeah, I'll say.
Second block shot of the night. He's also first in the Big East. 93 for the year. Here's another look.
And right here attacking as he does so well. You can't believe the long arms and back live. Another easy jumper. Knocked down.
George Butler wide open for that three that didn't go. So it remains a 7-point difference under 4 minutes. Danielle, tough catch in traffic, and he's fouled. Churchwell.
It's like rush hour when he gets it, huh? Everybody queuing up.
And that is going to do it for Robert Churchwell. He will foul out. With 8 points and 3:38 left in the ball game.
Thinking of Othello, maybe a cohesive number of points because he has really played within the structure, hasn't forced anything, hasn't touched it enough, particularly because of his own.
Churchwell, the senior, gets a nice ovation as he heads to the Hoya bench, filing out 3:38 left.
Taking a look at John, 500 wins and not too many gray hairs either.
Not as many as you, anyway.
Well, I had a lot of them the first year. Then it went downhill from there. I should have known that prayers didn't help.
Didn't help at all. But it made you a better person, Raph.
I hope so.
John Jock back in. Churchwell out. 63-56, and Danielle Marshall 21 points on the night. Perfect from the free throw line.
Who's your pick for player of the year? The controversy.
It'll either be this guy or the guy up in Boilermaker Lane.
Yeah, and a little giveaway by Donnie in the backcourt. And maybe the guy who brings his team the longest way. What do you think? Should get it?
Could be. We'll find out. 63-56. Othello Harrington's kept Georgetown in this game. In this half, they still trail by 7. 53-56, 3:34 left in the ball game. The Buick storyline on this one has UConn with a fast break, a big advantage, and Danielle Marshall 14 in the second half. Othello Harrington 18 points but only 1 board. But look at that 3-point shooting, and 0 for their last 11 when they desperately need some of those to get back in the game. That part, that facet of the Hoya game is not going their way.
Non-existent, huh? You wonder how they hang around. And the Huskies, after the timeout, go man-to-man.
And yet, if they could hit a 3 right here, we'd be saying, now we got a ball game. Just that simple.
And Don Reed doesn't even get a handshake out there. He's out of the wing all alone. Donnie Marshall staying in and zoning. Here comes Don out.
6 on the shot clock. Butler with a penetration. Nice move, George.
And man-to-man, he can be devastating. Wouldn't be surprised if UConn goes back to the 2-3 just to contain him a little bit.
5-point game, 2:50 left.
Late pick and roll.
This is where you hope for Joey Brown to swipe one for you if you're a Hoya fan.
And they're using a little clock too, a little milk time.
Shepard bumped by John Jott. So Daron Sheffer will go to the free throw line.
I'm checking out the byplay with John Clackerty and Jim Calhoun. John Thompson not happy with the nickel dimer, and Jimmy wants to know why the other ref let it go. Of course, making these now, I'll be curious to see if they go that 2-2-1 now. Set it up, see if they can create a turnover possibility.
Sheffer, his first free throw of the night, 11 points on the evening. He is officially a freshman, yet he is 21 years old. Part of the Israeli national championship team, missed the second.
The connection, huh? The Dov Henefeld,
That's
Gilad
right.
Katz.
Still, the Huskies leaving the door open for the Hoyas. If they could find the basket, that would help the cause. Othello Harrington with a big rebound, though he has had few tonight. That one was huge to keep it alive. Can't score it, but the tip by Reed.
Oh, my goodness, huh? A tip-toe putback.
Reed has 6 points tonight, 2 of them on tips just like that. 64-60. All of a sudden, some noise in the air. The U.S. Air Arena, that is.
And they call a timeout. They used some clock the last trip. Puts a little pressure down to 17 seconds on the shot clock.
We told you there'd be a time we were going to say we still got a ball game. We do. Something to cheer about now, as their team has drawn within 4, 64-60 with 1:49 left. And remember, Georgetown came into this 10-5 in the Big East, but 16-7 overall, knowing full well if you can pick off the number 4 team in the country, that is a gigantic feather in your NCAA cap. They know that.
And a little zone look right now, Brad.
6 on the shot clock. Danielle Marshall, Kevin Ollie on top. One of them's going to have to take it. Danielle at the buzzer. He hit the rim, but it comes off the backside, untouched. Georgetown ball.
We were wondering with the inability to make shots, the Hoyas out-rebounding by 7 this half when they were down by 6 in the first half. But you run it late in the shot clock, it puts a little undue pressure on your guys.
Now you want to think about Othello, if you can pack it into him, if you can find room in there. You don't need a 3.
Against that 2-3, now Butler been able to penetrate.
Jock will take the 3, though.
Soft.
Almost got the roll. Rebound Hayward. Did he walk or step on the line? He did.
Great job by Joey Brown. I mean, he is a nudge. One of those guys always creating havoc for people. Where'd you come from, little guy?
UConn 20 turnovers. They won't be happy about that regardless of the outcome of this game. Nice inbound to Jock, and he's going to cross-court it. Butler. Johnny Marshall got on him. He thought about the 3. Now he may take it. Got his own rebound and went down hard. And it's UConn ball.
Boy, did he get up in traffic.
He's so upset right now, he doesn't feel the pain of hitting on his knee. He went down hard.
He did hit that deck on an open look, and this is one I thought he was going to knock down, but the ability in traffic, and that is painful, maybe not as painful as the ball going out of bounds.
Right. And he said, he hit me. John Crockett, he saw it differently. Georgetown full court now. Trying to come up with a steal. We're under a minute.
They got the 2 heads in there, Brad. Sheffer and Ollie. That's what makes this team extremely tough.
The double team on Ollie, and he got it out of there, but it comes free. Hoya ball.
And one hustle by Joey Brown again. That was a turnover against Georgetown. He made it happen.
John Thompson knows how huge this game could be. There's what they've got left. At Syracuse, the Providence makeup game to be announced into the Big East tournament. That 16-7 doesn't look too bad. They can get it to 17-7 and 11-5. You can just about make a date for them in the tournament.
And only those 14 Division I wins, so that is a problem. They got to get a couple. There's that post-up, tough entry from that deep. That's a real Don Reed. Not the greatest of passers, but so far from the lane to make that entry.
Now they're going to have to foul to try to get the ball back somehow. Now they're doing a dribbling act, but he walked with it.
You're right, they had to give it right away. I just mentioned the heads, huh? The heads have stayed for UConn, who have been solid all year, just struggling off their game somewhat tonight.
UConn 4 turnovers in their last 5 possessions. We've got 18.7 seconds left. And we'll stay right here with a timeout. Georgetown down by 4, Raft. They need 2 possessions either way. So
it's got to be 2. I mean, I wouldn't settle for the deep one. Now, they did a nice job inside out. But what they're settling for when it goes into Othello, if he's been able to catch it, is the shot. I think when you come back, the defense reacts. You can dribble around people. Same thing with Butler. I'd get him between defenders, let him create, and then either the dump down or something to the corner or the opposite wing.
Butler's done a much better job for his points slicing to the basket tonight, and he has had some open 3-pointers. He'll continue to take them, I'm sure, but he's got to be wondering confidence-wise about whether that 3's going to go, because the Hoyas can't find it from outside the arc tonight.
And, Brad, over the years, Joey Brown has been able to get into the thick of defenses, particularly zones. But UConn's so big, he can't see the floor as well as a Butler.
When we get done with the Hoyas and the Huskies, we will...
Tape recorder ready, huh?
I got it all taped. I want to see who's got my seat. I'm sure there's one
John
there
Saunders,
for you.
I'll bet.
Yeah. Now that I finally figured out Chris is in the studio, it probably is John who's got my seat.
A little pick and roll.
Joey Brown got the shot. The roll didn't go. Butler kept it alive and was fouled.
And Ollie with a little giveaway. Nice deployment right there. They switched to the man. We're ready.
That's only 16 fouls, though, ref. So having one to give, having a couple to give, really paid dividends there for the Huskies. Butler, Joey Brown trying to hurry, dishes inside, got the shot. Harrington, and they got the timeout with 2.8.
Pretty effective use of the bounce to get inside. UConn presenting themselves well, but a little sleight of hand with the pass. Here's the problem now. Inbounding the ball, you should not throw it near your basket. You've got to go a little bit deep. And right here, something they've gotten away from, going to the hole and finding a hole. He does show up in the open space, doesn't he, Othello?
Othello's got 20, but is it too late? 2.8 seconds all that's left. The Hoyas on an 8-1 run the last 5 minutes, but they are out of timeouts and maybe out of time.
This takes courage. Everybody will be matched up. They may not play the inbound passer. I'm thinking they will. Everybody has a guy. If you throw it deep, you're now away from danger, but you can do two things. You can throw it out of bounds
far and no
or hit
time
the scoreboard up here.
That's true.
I mean, it's in a dangerous spot. Remember Al McGuire in the championship took the walk, looked up at the scoreboard in Atlanta, decided which side of the floor he was going to take it out. Or
checking out the blueprints on the Omni.
But you have to be ready to screen and step back to the ball. They're bringing everybody down here. So the defense will all be in this end. It'll be a tough catch in traffic. You want to hold and pivot away and don't give the basketball up.
So Kevin Ollie will be the trigger man.
They got Joey Brown playing free safety.
Here's the final 2.8. Ollie got it into Marshall, fouled immediately by Reed. Only 0.8 seconds off the clock. And Daniel Marshall has missed but one free throw tonight. 6 out of 7. So if you're a player of the year,
this is what you're supposed to do.
This is what you're supposed to do. Walk up, knock them both in, and go home.
And they're a 71% shooting team, so they're very good at the end of games. When you are as good as they are, people are waiting for you to put a knock on you.
This is a 2-shot free throw opportunity for Daniel Marshall, not 1-on-1.
We're over the 10.
There's one. This one wins it for UConn if it goes. If not, Georgetown will have a length of the court opportunity to try to tie the game. The ESPYs just 2 seconds away. Daniel Marshall 1 shot away from winning it for UConn for the first time ever on this floor. He hits them both, and maybe he is a player of the year. Joey Brown, the inbound, it won't matter even if it goes. And the UConn Huskies go to 25-3 and 15-2 in the Big East. They win for the first time here ever. For Bill Raftery and our entire ESPN crew, Brad Nessler saying so long from Landover, Maryland. The ESPYs are next.
Yell continues to get the job done with the UConn Huskies, David.
He's been snowing everybody, hasn't he?
No, he's a real thing.
I think so. Ran into a friend of mine today. He said, "You see Danielle take that shot to the head last night?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "That's why he'll be in the NBA next year. To take shots like that, you got to be paid for it." Well, that's an observation I can't argue with at all. Anyway, the Huskies got a win at Georgetown, a rarity indeed. Harvey reports from the U.S. Air Terminal.
It looked like the nation's capital jinx would continue for the UConn Huskies early in this game.
Why was it so difficult winning in this place?
I think because a lot of teams, not only Connecticut, but a lot of teams try to come in and play Georgetown basketball, and that's fighting and, you know, punching and cheap shots.
But in the end, UConn snapped its 11-game losing streak here and finally won its first ball game ever at the US Air Arena.
How does it feel to finally win a ball game at this place?
It feels real good, you know. I won the game here in my high school year when we played the Capital Classic, but the rest of the team did. But this probably feels good to win a college game here.
This has been a year of breaking jinxes for the Huskies, beating St. John's at Madison Square Garden for the first time. And thanks to their win over Georgetown, the Huskies have now won on every Big East court.
We're just stepping out on the court, playing the game as it's been played, and we're playing hard and playing aggressive right now, and it's a good time to be playing aggressive and playing hard.
And at the rate the Huskies are going, maybe this will be their first Final Four season. In Landover, Maryland, Harvey Smolovitz, Channel 3 Sports.
And while we
regular season, that is. Well, if the fourth-ranked Huskies can beat St. John's in their final game Saturday, it would be a Big East record 16th conference win. Last night at Georgetown, Hoya Othello Harrington leaves a nice little calling card in Donyell Marshall's face. No whistle, no foul. Minutes later, Donyell shoves Robert Churchwell. They whistled at that time, a two-shot flagrant foul called. When Donyell scores on this drive in the second half, it gives UConn a 59-50 lead. It also gives him 17 points for the game and 704 for the season, breaking the UConn single-season record held by Tony Hansen. And when Donyell buries 2 free throws with 2 seconds left, it clinched a 66-62 UConn win. Now, as for that record,
he's moved himself into being we can really say the best player in the history of the school. He's proven that certainly offensively by being the greatest scorer against certainly maybe the best competition any player's ever played against. And defensively, I mean, he's a factor every time down the court with his shot blocking ability and rebounding. So, he at this point in time is the best player that's ever, I think, put a UConn uniform on. We've had some awful good ones here.
Donyell now needs only 26 more points to break the Big East single-season scoring record. That one's held by Eric Murdoch of Providence. And
very famous investor is Jim Calhoun. This is his place. It's Coach's restaurant. And Jim's involvement is not only as an investor, but he will be here on site at least twice a month, but probably more often than that.
So if you come here, you might get to see Jim Calhoun. I will see him tonight and ask him some questions that I will show you. Now, I've been showing my series on women's athletics, my contention that